On the 17th of July, 1978, there appeared along the timberline of Mount Hood, Oregon, 3 creatures never before filmed. They are the monsters of the Northwest. The Indians call them Sasquatch, the white man, Bigfoot. These primal-looking figures are human beings dressed in costumes for a motion picture. In every detail, they are duplicates of the part man, part ape, described by a variety of reliable eyewitnesses. Arch Buckley has no doubt about the existence of the monster known as Bigfoot. On the night of June 17th, 1970, after 40 years of searching, Arch was soon to be rewarded by a sight he will never forget. Loch Ness, the lovely 24-mile-long lake in Scotland, has sustained an incredible legend for some 16 centuries. That living somewhere beneath its placid surface is a giant prehistoric monster. In the past, In Search Of made its own investigation of the fascinating mystery and presented the most authenticated picture of the creature taken up to that time.
Interesting is what's come out.
Two well-known investigators bring us up to date. Peter Byrne, whose specialty is Bigfoot and the abominable snowman, interviewed Tim Dimsdale, considered a leading expert on the Loch Ness monster.
And incidentally, what is new? What's been discovered in this last 6 months or so?
Well, there's been some very exciting new developments. Last summer, surface photography, there was some 2 color stills in 35 shot at about 100 yards of a head and neck out of the water. And this is very exciting stuff.
It is, yes. What do you really think these creatures at Loch Ness are?
I think the most exciting, dramatic, and probably the most likely theory, in my humble view, is that it is a survival, an evolved species of plesiosaur. These were the marine saurians that used to live at sea in the Cretaceous period 70 million years ago, which means they've had a long time to adapt and get bigger. They've got bigger. If this is a plesiosaur, it's got much bigger. And of course, if that's the case, it's enormously exciting. It's very exciting anyway.
How could they have existed all this time and survived in a place like Loch Ness?
Well, we have the classic case. How could they have survived? The classic case of the coelacanth, archaic species of fish, which was supposed to have conked out at the same time, incidentally, in the Cretaceous, and they found them off Madagascar. It didn't. Crocodiles are saurians. They haven't changed at all. It's not impossible that this thing has continued to survive in the sea, and that Loch Ness used to be connected to the sea quite recently. Land rose, it got cut off. So it's not impossible. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. The fact of the matter is that these animals are real. Whatever they are, they exist. Like your Bigfoot.
Thousands of miles away, along the foggy Northern California coast, a unique group of men carry on the search for Bigfoot. They are not hunters in the usual sense. They wield no guns. They spend months each year tracing every available clue, hoping to make contact with the creature they know exists and is endangered by man. Most scientists are, by nature, cautious. Quite properly, they don't announce discoveries until they have substantial proof to support their claims. Certainly, they tend to avoid areas of research that might expose them to ridicule by their colleagues. One such area is, of course, the controversial figure of long-standing legend, the elusive Bigfoot. Therefore, the field of investigation has been taken over by a number of amateurs who have no professional status to jeopardize. We shall follow one group of these monster hunters as they seek further proof to back their belief that Bigfoot does, in fact, exist. Calling themselves the Bay Area Group, they focus their intensive pursuit of Bigfoot mainly in the forests and mountains north of San Francisco. Led by Arch Buckley, They've narrowed their searching to particular areas where prior evidences of the creature have been uncovered. The personnel of each trip may vary, but the information gathered is available to all members. Al Berry is a journalist from Sacramento, specializing in tape recording the sounds of Bigfoot. Warren Thompson of the San Mateo school system seeks proof by photography. Spotting lairs where Bigfoot may have slept is of major interest to Steve Sanders, zoologist and veterinarian. Arch is a footprint expert, but for him, the method of communication is all important.
I saw a Bigfoot. I've had one sighting, but I've had numerous incidents where I've been able to develop somewhat of a rapport with them. Well, there's a great deal more love in this world than it's ever expressed. And animals are no different than people. And if you think positively and act positively, and through the media of soft voice, it's amazing how you can develop a rapport with wild animals. And I'm not talking about park animals. I'm talking about wild animals. And Bigfoot is no different.
The group believes they are dealing with a nocturnal, nomadic creature who keeps constantly on the move. One of the reasons it's been so hard to capture it on film.
I don't think so. Their beds and seats are
more often than not, there are false clues and disappointments. When not camping out, the group headquarters in remote lodges. As expected, Bigfoot dominates their conversations.
We feel, in the Bay Area group, that we're dealing with a species that's already an endangered species. And under no circumstances do we recommend going out and shooting one.
One may rightly ask what inspires the group's belief and commitment.
What first convinced me that these creatures exist was an incident that I had in 1969, camping about 20 miles north of the confluence of the Klamath and Trinity Rivers in Northern California, when one of these creatures, about 4 in the morning, walked by the side of the tent into the campground, and we were awakened. A commotion from the inside of the tent startled the creature, and it ran off into the brush. And when it became light enough to go out and see, the trail of prints that it had left, 16-inch prints, very human in appearance, with a stride of 56 to 60 inches between them, is what made a believer out of me.
Footprints, bits of hair that defy classification, all intriguing evidence that an unusual creature inhabits the woods have been found at one time or another. Also, a unique sound has been heard.